Hey guys, wobble wobble wobble, this is Downtown Adrian J with a kicking his gloves in London town. This is a kind of a little video on how I fixed the refrigerator. So this is what I want to, this is the problem, and this has been going on for a whole bunch of years, and I hope this will help you. It's not that difficult. It's a bit of a pain. I've got to put everything back together again, but this is what the issue was. At the bottom of the cooker. And it was a big pile, and it was only coming out one corner of the cooker, and it only seemed to be happening at certain times. It was really difficult to work out, but eventually I found out it wasn't the cooker, and it's not as dumb as it sounds, because I looked online and there's a lot of videos, or there's a lot of information on cookers where there's a lot of condensation, and sometimes keeping a door open will stop the condensation. It wasn't that, but I'm just telling you, when you were using the cooker, and only when you were using the cooker, you'd get a pile of water there, or a pile of water there, so it was kind of rolling down there, and this whole place was getting soaked. Now, I found that when you left the cooker open a little bit, it seemed to sometimes help, and then other times it didn't. So we couldn't work out what it was, because it was absolutely coming from there. We thought it might have been coming from there, but there was no water there. We looked here, and I couldn't see any water here. Nothing was flooding here. But there was a massive big pile of water all over here. Like, you know, in this area here. So you think it's coming from the cooker. It's got to be something to do with condensation, some kind of bullshit like that. Until someone told me it's coming from the fridge. Now, I couldn't see any water coming from the fridge. But what it was doing, this little pissy thing, was a little trickle of water was coming down here. But what it was doing, it was, can you see the grooves on these tiles? It was going down the groove of this tile, down the hair, and settling there. And for some reason, you just couldn't see it in there. All you saw was a big pile of water from there going on. Don't ask me why. Anyway, can you see? It's a little bit of damp moisture here. And what it was coming down here, and I'll explain. It was coming down here. Can you see? Underneath the hair. Going underneath there and down there. It was really small, you just could not see it until it got to there, then piled up, and then bam. Now, and these are the 3 screws. 1 screw there, 1 screw there, 1 screw there. That panel all comes off. And this was where the water was trickling down. Whatever it takes on yours to get that off, but on mine, it's 3 screws. Be careful with the stuff that's in there, and also try to make sure you don't bust it when you're putting it back in again. Now we're going to go around the back, and this, guys, is what I want to show you. You've usually got something here at the back. This is the compressor, but I don't know if you can see. Can you see that tube? That tube is a bloody water tube. Goes all the way up, but it's kind of difficult to see. But can you see that black bit there? It's kind of junked up there, but it's difficult to get it out, and I didn't really want to pull it, but it's kind of screwed up there. And I don't know if you can see, that's where the water kind of goes. So make sure all this stuff is clean and clear, and also switch it off, because you don't want to get electrocuted. GE fridge. How does the fridge work, or what was wrong with the fridge? So I've taken the fridge apart. So basically, there's at the back. Okay, how basically the fridge works. This gets cold. Okay, this is the freezer. You've got a vent which goes up there and puts the cold air in here, and then this is the ice box. Blam. If you can imagine this. This is the fridge, that bit there. Water was trickling down from here, okay? Let's put this back up. I'll get a light on here. Hey, can you see? Water was trickling down here, and can you see this little bit here? This is kind of like a bit of a safety device, I'm guessing. So this fills up with water. The idea is that if you can see your freezer, and you see a shitload of water here, you know there's a problem. So what was happening is the water was filling up here, okay? Then it was trickling down, down, and coming out here, okay? Now, it was only doing that at certain times, because what happens is the freezer only defrosts, goes into auto defrost every now and again. Okay, so only when that defrosted, it trickled down. When this was full, bam. Now I did have a problem with this a while ago, and I ended up defrosting the fridge, and that kind of worked for about a year, but then it came back. Now, when I went to take the fridge out, I had to defrost stuff, so I found that this whole container, you know, the metal wire bar, was rock full of ice. Everything was chocked in there, and you couldn't actually take it out. It was just chock full of ice. Now, I ended up having to hammer it out, bring it out, defrosted it. I left it to defrost, but what I found was, if you left it for a day, you'd see a teeny trickle of water, and it fills up here. Okay, now let me show you. I had to take all this out. So basically, you have to switch off the fridge, the fridge. Take the trays out. There's usually 3 screws for this to take this out. Okay, be very careful. Now, this is what happens. Let's see if I can get in a little bit closer. So, what happens is, this is the condenser bar. Okay, but this will get frozen to a certain extent, and then to stop it from over freezing, it'll go through a defrost cycle. And what happens is, when the water, these are all frosted over, and what happens is, can you see there's like a metal piece here? Okay, there's also a metal piece which goes into here. So basically what kind of happens is this. Okay, what happens is this. The water drops into here. There's a tube which goes down to the bottom, and in the bottom there's like a tray, and basically evaporates, because it shouldn't flood there. It's just like a teeny tiny trickle. Now, what had happened is, there's a tube which is in the back, and it should go straight, but these stupid idiots have got a tube, and right at the end it's got like a U-bend. So over years of like water going down there with the sediment and everything, it's blocked up. Now, I went to the back of the fridge. I'm not going to pull the fridge out now, but I went to the back of the fridge. Actually, I may do, because I've got to put it back. I went to the back of the fridge, and the tube that's there, I really didn't want to try and pull it out, because it looked like it was joined at the top, and I didn't really want to pull it out. So I wanted to see what was happening here. This bit, before you could see, was chock full of ice. So what was happening is, instead of the water, the droplets of water being able to go down here, it was getting blocked and then backing up. So there's no way for the water to go down. So what was happening was, the water was building up here, because this is ice cold, it was freezing. It's freezing, and then the water's dripping over here. Okay? So, what's the fix? If you can get the tube out from the back and clean it, that will fix it. So I couldn't do that, so I thought I'd do it from this end. So, I got my trusty little hairdryer and basically defrosted all this crap, and I defrosted here because this was really full of ice. So what I then tried to do was see, okay, where is it blocked? So I couldn't really feel anything in here. I thought it might be ice. I was hoping it was ice. It wasn't. So then I got one of these pipe cleaners, but unfortunately the pipe doesn't go straight down. It actually goes straight down and back at an angle. If I show you here, can you see? So you can't put anything down there. So then I got one of these things, and I'll show you. I got one of these things. Can you see? Oop. I've got a turkey baster. So what I did was I filled it up with boiling water, because I was hoping this was going to be ice. Poured some water down there. And do you know what happened? Nothing. It actually, well, actually something. It flooded this area with water. So the water wasn't going down. So I then got a piece of wire to try and get it and break whatever's in there down. Didn't work. In the end, what happened? I filled this up with water, put it in there, but I kind of did like that. And I kind of forced water in there. Holy smokes, it went down. And I'm going to show you a little test of what should happen in here. So this is what should happen with the water. The water goes there. You see? All the water's gone down, and that's what was happening. Whatever was in there was blocked. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fridge back together again, and I'm going to do this in backward order. When I go to the back, I'm going to show you the pipe. So if you have a fridge which is leaking, this is the symptom. You'll either have an oven leaking, trace the water, trust me. But if you have a fridge or a freezer, actually it's usually a freezer, which leaks, right? If the freezer's leaking, open the freezer first of all. See if there is ice in the freezer. There shouldn't be ice in the freezer, okay? You look for telltale signs, because I guarantee you will see dripping from there water. You'll see ice. If there is ice, the chances are that is blocked. Sometimes there's other things which can cause it, but in this case it's the water which was blocking it. So I'm going to go around the back now, and I'm going to show you that after I put the fridge back together again.